They told him to pick one of the two alien girls as a reward. He looked at them and chose both part two. He had always thought of himself as just an ordinary explorer, someone who drifted through the outer systems looking for new planets, new life, and occasionally, new trouble. But now, standing at the edge of the shimmering platform, he realized he was no longer ordinary. The Council of Elders, a group of alien diplomats who ruled the sector with wisdom and patience, were watching him, waiting for him to act. Before him were two figures, standing quietly on either side of the platform. They were unlike any being he had ever encountered. One had skin like polished amber, hair flowing like a liquid silver river, and eyes that shimmered like twin suns. The other was taller, with scales that caught the light in every color of the spectrum, and a voice that seemed to hum in harmony with the platform beneath their feet. These were the two alien girls he had been told to choose between, and somehow they were supposed to be his reward for completing a task that had tested him in every way. The task had not been easy. Weeks ago, he had been sent to the desolate moon of Viral, a place abandoned by most civilizations because of its violent storms and unstable terrain. The council needed a rare mineral called lumicite, a glowing crystal that powered entire cities across the sector. Most explorers had failed, unable to survive the storms, the shifting sands, and the strange creatures that prowled beneath the surface. But Jaren had succeeded. He had battled the sandworms that could swallow a rover in seconds, navigated caverns that shifted as if alive, and finally, with careful hands and steady nerves, collected the lumicite crystals. Now, standing on this platform floating high above the central city of Zeruth, he was expected to make a choice that would shape the rest of his life. The council had told him it was simple. Choose one companion from the two aliens who would join him in his travels, his life, and perhaps more. The idea of a reward like this had seemed absurd at first, almost comical, when he had been briefed by the envoy. But now, with the two figures looking at him expectantly, he realized it was no joke. He looked at the first one, the one with the amber skin. Her name was Caliph. She had been observing him during the trials on Viral, silently calculating, watching his every move. When danger had struck, she had acted with precision, guiding him through treacherous paths, warning him of unseen threats. She was sharp, fearless, and incredibly intelligent. He felt a sense of admiration toward her, though he knew better than to let it cloud his judgment. She was not a prize to be won. She was a being with her own mind, capable of incredible things. Then he turned to the second, the taller one with scales that sparkled under the city lights. Her name was Soren. She had an aura that seemed to bend light itself. Where Caliph had been strategy and calculation, Soren was instinct and adaptability. During their expedition, she had leapt without hesitation into danger, saved his life more than once, and seemed to understand the world in ways he never could. Her presence was calming, almost hypnotic, and yet undeniably powerful. Jaren swallowed hard. Choosing one of them felt impossible. Both had proven themselves, both had saved him, and both had shown him loyalty in ways that went beyond words. He had been told that only one could accompany him, but the thought of leaving one behind felt wrong. Somehow, against all protocol, against all expectations, he knew what he had to do. "I can't choose just one," he said finally, his voice steady despite the racing of his heart. The council's eyes widened in surprise, as did the eyes of Caliph and Soren. He stepped forward, closing the distance between them. "I need both of you. I can't do this without either one. You've both earned your place, not as a reward but as equals." The council murmured among themselves. Such defiance was rare, and even more so from a human. Humans were considered reckless, unpredictable, and often too emotional to understand the delicate balances of interstellar diplomacy. Yet here he stood, showing not recklessness but clarity. He wanted neither dominance nor favoritism. He wanted partnership. Caliph tilted her head, studying him. Her amber eyes narrowed slightly, then softened. "You mean you want both of us?" she asked, voice like wind over glass. "Yes," Jaren said simply. "I want both of you. If we're going to face what's out there, new worlds, new threats, I need your minds, your skills, and your instincts. Not one over the other. Both." Soren's scaled features twitched as if she were smiling, though it was hard to tell with her alien expression. "Interesting," she said, voice low and melodic. "Humans are strange. Most would have panicked, chosen one, and tried to justify it later. You are different." The council was silent now, and for a moment Jaren wondered if he had overstepped. Then, slowly, the eldest member of the council rose. She was tall and regal, her presence commanding respect. Her eyes, deep and knowing, studied him for several long seconds before she spoke. "You have chosen, human," she said. "Against tradition, against expectation, you have chosen partnership over preference. This is unprecedented." "We do not question your wisdom," Jaren replied, "but I will not leave either of them behind, not after what we've faced together." There was a pause. Then the councilwoman's expression softened. "Very well. It is true that rules are often written by those who fear change. Perhaps this is an opportunity to learn that change can be strength." She turned her gaze to Caliph and Soren. "You will both accompany him, and perhaps in doing so you will learn more about yourselves and this human than you realize." Caliph blinked slowly, processing the declaration. "This human," she murmured almost to herself. "He is bold, perhaps foolish, but bold." Soren let out a soft hum, the sound vibrating through the platform like a song. "Foolishness and boldness often travel together. I like it." Jaren felt a weight lift off his shoulders. It wasn't victory, not yet. It was more than that. It was the beginning of something new, something unpredictable. And for the first time in his life, he felt ready for it. The platform began to lower, carrying them from the high council chambers to the landing bay below. The city of Zareth stretched before them, its towers gleaming in the light of three suns. Ships moved through the sky like swarms of metallic insects, and distant mountains sparkled with crystalline veins. To Jaren, it was beautiful, but more than that, it was a promise. Out there, beyond the city, beyond the known systems, there were adventures waiting, and now he would not face them alone. Caliph spoke quietly as they walked toward the waiting ship. "You have made a choice that will not be understood by many," she said, "but I respect it." "I respect you," Soren chimed in, her voice like the gentle clinking of metal. "And I look forward to seeing how far your human boldness can take us. Perhaps it will surprise us all." Jaren smiled. "It already has," he said, "just by being here with both of you." The ship that awaited them was sleek, a marvel of engineering that combined human ingenuity with alien technology. Its hull shimmered with adaptive coatings, capable of blending into the surroundings, and its engines were silent until needed, capable of bursts that could outrun almost anything in the sector. Boarding it felt like stepping into the future, but also like stepping into a dream. As the engines hummed to life, Jaren took one last look at the city below. Zareth had tested him, challenged him, and in the end had rewarded him not with treasure but with allies. With Caliph and Soren at his side, he felt invincible, not in the sense of being unstoppable, but in the sense of being complete. The stars awaited them, endless and mysterious. Beyond them were dangers, discoveries, and perhaps even other civilizations that no one had yet imagined. But Jaren no longer feared the unknown. He had learned that strength was not measured by what one could take, but by what one could choose, and he had chosen wisely. Caliph moved to the navigation console, her fingers dancing over the controls with precision. Soren moved to the sensors, her scaled hands brushing over panels that responded to her touch like extensions of herself. And Jaren, standing between them, felt a surge of confidence he had never known before. "Where to first?" Caliph asked, glancing at him. "Somewhere no one has gone before," Jaren replied. Somewhere we can see what humans and aliens can do together." Soren hummed in approval, and the engines roared quietly as the ship lifted off. The three of them were no longer just explorer and companions. They were a team, bound not by rules, not by tradition, but by choice. And that choice would carry them further than any of them had ever dreamed. As Zareth disappeared beneath them, swallowed by the morning light of its three suns, Jaren felt a quiet thrill. Adventure, danger, and discovery awaited. But for the first time, he knew that whatever came next, he would not face it alone. Not Kalith, not Soren, and not he himself. Together, they would face the stars. The stars stretched endlessly before them, endless points of light scattered across the velvet darkness of space. Jaren sat in the pilot's chair, hands resting lightly on the control panel. The hum of the ship beneath him was steady, comforting, almost alive. Beside him, Kalith adjusted the navigation settings with precision, her amber eyes scanning the holographic map that floated in the air. Soren leaned over the sensor array, her scaled fingers tracing patterns in the glowing console, attuning the ship to the vibrations of the cosmos. "Distance to the uncharted system?" Jaren asked, glancing at Kalith. Kalith's fingers danced over the controls. 3 light days away. No recorded traffic, no known civilizations. The readings suggest a planet with breathable atmosphere and stable gravity, but nothing else. "It's untouched," Soren hummed, the sound reverberating softly through the ship. "Untouched often means dangerous," she said. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light of the console. "We may not be alone, even if the sensors show nothing." Jaren nodded, gripping the armrests. "We expected danger. That's why I brought both of you." "I trust your instincts, and I trust yours, Kalith. Together, we're better prepared than anyone else could be." Kalith gave a small nod. "I agree, but we must stay vigilant. Uncharted systems often hide threats we can't detect until it's too late." Soren tilted her head, observing the stars passing by in streaks of light as the ship entered faster-than-light travel. "You humans have a saying," she murmured. "Fortune favors the bold. It seems to suit us well. You are bold, Jaren. Perhaps it will keep us alive." Jaren smiled faintly. "Bold enough to rely on 2 incredible alien minds. That counts for something, right?" They laughed softly, the sound mingling with the quiet hum of the engines. For a moment, the tension of the mission lifted, replaced by camaraderie. They had chosen each other, not as master and reward, but as equals, partners in the unknown. Hours passed. The ship moved silently through the black expanse, passing by unremarkable stars and drifting debris. Then, as the uncharted system drew nearer, the sensors began to flicker. Tiny anomalies appeared, gravitational waves that should not exist, faint energy readings with no source, and subtle shifts in the light spectrum. Kalith's eyes narrowed. "Something is here," she said. "Not visible on cameras, but it is affecting the space around the planet. It could be a natural phenomenon, or it could be artificial." Soren tilted her head. "Artificial usually means someone or something does not want us here." Her voice was soft, but there was an edge to it. "We should be careful." Jaren leaned forward, hands tightening on the controls. "Agreed. Let's approach slowly, sensors active, shields up. I don't want to be surprised." The ship moved cautiously, descending toward the planet's orbit. The planet itself was breathtaking, a swirl of green and blue, with towering mountain ranges and vast oceans stretching beyond the horizon. It looked peaceful, almost serene. But the anomalies persisted. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Lights flickered as the sensors went haywire. The gravitational field around the planet was fluctuating, pulling the ship slightly off course. "What the?" Jaren muttered, struggling to stabilize the vessel. Kalith's fingers flew over her console. "It's a field. Someone or something is projecting a magnetic anomaly." "It's not natural. There's intelligence behind this." Soren's voice was calm but firm. "We need to find the source before it destabilizes the entire ship. I can triangulate the anomaly if we get closer." Jaren nodded. Do it. Kalith, keep us steady. I'll handle evasive maneuvers if it gets rough. The ship dipped lower into orbit, weaving between bands of distorted energy. The stars outside twisted, bending around the anomaly, making it feel as though the universe itself was shifting. Then, suddenly, the anomaly vanished. The ship leveled and the sensors cleared. Kalith exhaled slowly. Gone for now, but it's definitely intelligent. Someone is testing us. Soren's fingers hovered over the sensor array. It may not be a threat, it may be a message or a challenge. Either way, we must proceed carefully. Jaren took a deep breath. Then we find the source, together. Descending to the planet's surface, the ship entered a wide valley surrounded by mountains. The ground was covered in soft, luminescent moss that pulsed gently under the twin suns. Streams of crystal-clear water reflected the light, and in the distance, structures rose from the ground, tall, organic-looking towers that seemed grown rather than built. Kalith's eyes widened. Architecture, but alive. This civilization is unlike anything recorded, and it's intelligent, clearly. Soren stepped closer to the observation window. We may have stumbled onto a planet that has hidden itself from the galaxy for centuries. Their energy fields were meant to prevent detection and perhaps to prevent intrusion. Jaren gripped the railing. Then we approach carefully. I don't want to make the first move too aggressive. Let's see if we can communicate. They prepared the ship for landing near a flat plateau outside the towers. The landing gear touched the ground softly, leaving the ship steady. Outside, the air was breathable, though faintly charged with energy. Kalith activated a scanning device. No life forms are visible, but energy readings suggest motion within the towers. They are aware of us. Soren nodded. I suggest we exit, but cautiously. No sudden movements. We observe first. Jaren opened the ship's hatch. The wind from the valley carried a faint hum, almost musical, and the moss beneath their feet glowed brighter as they stepped onto it. It felt alive, reacting to their presence. As they moved closer to the towers, a shape emerged, a being unlike anything they had seen. It had a translucent body, almost like glass, with light flowing through it like liquid. Its form shifted constantly, making it difficult to determine its exact shape. It moved toward them gracefully, with no visible legs, arms, or features they could recognize. Kalith stepped forward cautiously. We come in peace, she said. We seek knowledge, not conflict. The being tilted slightly, its light flowing in patterns that almost resembled speech. Soren's fingers brushed over her sensor console, attempting to interpret the energy patterns. It's communicating, she said, through energy modulation. It's complex, but I think it is curious about us, not hostile. Jaren relaxed slightly. Good, let's respond in kind. Show it we are aware of its presence and mean no harm. They extended a simple holographic display from the ship, projecting calm, stable energy patterns. The being reacted immediately, mimicking the patterns, then forming new ones in return. It was a slow exchange, a conversation without words but full of understanding. Kalith whispered, "It's teaching us or testing us. It wants to know if we are intelligent enough to interact." Soren nodded. "And we can do this, together." For hours they exchanged energy patterns with the being. Jaren realized that what they were seeing was more than a single individual. It was a network, a collective consciousness of the planet itself. The towers were connected, alive and aware. Every movement of the being rippled across the valley, as if the planet itself were watching them. Kalith spoke quietly, almost in awe. This civilization, it has survived untouched because it communicates through energy and consciousness. It doesn't need technology as we know it, and yet it is incredibly advanced. Soren added, "We may be the first outsiders they have ever allowed near them. We must respect that." Jaren nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. Then we proceed carefully. We learn, we understand, and we leave no harm. That's our mission. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the being pulsed brightly, and the energy exchange reached a crescendo. For a moment, Jaren felt as though the planet itself was speaking directly to him. Thoughts, images, and feelings flowed into his mind, visions of history, survival, and unity. He understood, without words, that this civilization had thrived because it valued harmony above all else. Kalith and Sauron experienced it as well, their expressions mirroring awe and wonder. For the first time, they were not just explorers. They were ambassadors, representatives of humanity and allied civilizations, standing on the threshold of something profound. When the energy exchange finally subsided, the being retreated, its light dimming but leaving behind a faint glow that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the planet. The towers themselves shimmered, as if acknowledging the respect and understanding shown by the newcomers. Kalith turned to Jaren. "We have made a first contact that will be remembered. This planet trusts us cautiously but trusts nonetheless." Sauron smiled softly. "And we did it together. No one alone could have achieved this." Humanity and alien skills combined were enough to earn respect. Jaren exhaled slowly, a sense of accomplishment washing over him. This is just the beginning. There will be more challenges, more discoveries. But for now, we've proven that we can face the unknown and succeed. As night fell on the uncharted planet, the three of them returned to the ship, leaving behind only footprints and careful energy markers. The stars above seemed brighter, as if congratulating them on their success. Kalith whispered, "We have learned from them. And they have learned from us. This is the essence of exploration." Sauron nodded. "Together we will continue. Together we will face whatever comes next, and together we will thrive." Jaren smiled, feeling the truth of their words resonate in his chest. "Together," he echoed. And with that they lifted off, leaving the valley and the living towers behind, bound for the next adventure. The ship cruised through the void, silent except for the soft hum of the engines. Jaren sat at the pilot's chair, staring at the stars stretching endlessly before them. Despite the beauty of the uncharted systems, a sense of anticipation filled him. The planet they had just left had been extraordinary, a living civilization that tested their intellect and patience. Yet, he knew it was only the beginning. Kalith adjusted the navigation display. "We have coordinates for another uncharted sector. Energy readings suggest a complex structure, possibly artificial. The readings are unlike anything in our databases. Someone, or something, built this deliberately." Sauron's glowing eyes traced the patterns on her console. "It appears massive but unstable. The energy fluxes are irregular, suggesting either decay or deliberate concealment. We should be careful. Approaching it recklessly could be dangerous." Jaren nodded, a determined expression on his face. "We don't know what we'll find, but we can handle it. Together." The ship moved faster than light toward the location. Hours passed in quiet concentration, punctuated only by occasional discussions about strategy or sensor readings. The three of them worked seamlessly, each contributing their unique strengths. Jaren's human intuition balanced Kalith's tactical precision and Sauron's instinctual perception. They were not just companions, they were a team, functioning as one entity. Finally, the anomaly appeared on the screens, a massive construct floating in the darkness. It was a colossal ring broken in sections, fragments drifting around it like debris. Energy pulses radiated from the structure, bright and erratic. Kalith whistled softly. "It's enormous. And it's alive in a way. Look at the energy spikes. They're not random. This structure reacts to our approach." Sauron leaned closer to the sensors. "It's testing us like the planet before, or it's guarding something. Either way, we need to be cautious." Jaren studied the readings, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on him. "We go in slowly. No sudden maneuvers. Shields up, sensors active. Let's find out what this place really is." The ship descended carefully toward the inner ring. The structure was partially destroyed, yet still imposing. Broken segments glowed faintly, as if the metal itself remembered its original purpose. As they entered the interior, the ship's sensors detected a low-frequency vibration. It pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Kalith frowned. It's resonating with us, not with our ship but with our minds. Something in this structure is alive or aware. Soren's voice was calm but tense. We must be careful. Intelligence like this doesn't forgive mistakes. Any misstep could trigger defensive mechanisms. Jaren adjusted the controls, steering them deeper into the ring. The interior was vast, a maze of corridors and open spaces, glowing with faint, ethereal light. The walls pulsed with energy, reacting to their presence. Each step forward felt like walking through a living organism, and the sensation was both thrilling and terrifying. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Panels flickered as the energy around them intensified. The readings went haywire, and a deep resonance filled the cabin. Kalith's eyes narrowed. It's scanning us, testing us. We must respond carefully. Soren placed her hand on the console, feeling the subtle vibrations through her scales. I can synchronize with the energy flow. It's not hostile yet. But it wants something, recognition perhaps. Jaren nodded. Do it. I trust your instincts. Soren closed her eyes, her fingers moving over the controls. Slowly, the ship's energy systems began to resonate in harmony with the structure. The pulsing deepened and the walls of the ring seemed to stabilize. The vibrations became a rhythm, almost like a language, and for the first time, Jaren felt that they were communicating with the structure itself. Kalith whispered, "It's responding. It recognizes us as intelligent beings, but why? What is its purpose?" Soren opened her eyes, glowing faintly. "It is a guardian, a protector of knowledge. The energy pulses are like questions, tests. Only those capable of understanding can pass." Jaren swallowed. "Then we answer." Together, the ship moved deeper into the ring, guided by Soren's connection to the energy. The walls shifted subtly, opening pathways that had previously been blocked. Jaren realized that the structure was not just a relic, it was an interactive archive, a record of a civilization that had long vanished. As they progressed, holographic images began to appear in the air, shimmering with light. Cities, planets, and star systems unfolded before them. They were visions of a civilization that had explored the galaxy, advanced far beyond most known species, yet careful to leave traces rather than dominate. Kalith gasped softly. They documented everything, their knowledge, their culture, their history. This is a library of a lost civilization. Soren's voice was awed, and they are testing us to see if we are worthy of accessing it. Only those who can understand the language of energy, thought, and intuition can proceed. Jaren stepped forward, feeling a mix of excitement and responsibility. Then we show them what humans and allies can do. Together, we are worthy. As they continued, the tests grew more complex. The energy patterns required coordination, intuition, and creativity. One wrong pulse could trigger defensive mechanisms, and the walls occasionally emitted sharp bursts of energy when missteps occurred. But with Kalith's strategy, Soren's instinct, and Jaren's improvisation, they navigated each challenge. Hours passed, but they pressed on, learning to synchronize with the structure. Slowly, the pulses began to calm, the holographic images coalescing into a central chamber. There, floating in the middle of the space, was a core, a sphere of light and energy radiating knowledge and wisdom. Kalith approached cautiously. "This is it, the heart of the archive." Soren extended a hand. "It's offering access. We can learn from it if we are ready." Jaren stepped forward, feeling the energy pulse through him. "We are ready. We want to understand, not to take, but to share knowledge with others. That's why we are here." The core shimmered brightly, and suddenly a stream of images, sounds, and feelings flooded their minds. It was overwhelming: entire histories, star charts, philosophical insights, technological blueprints. Jaren felt his mind expand, but not in fear. He felt clarity, purpose, and unity. Calith's amber eyes glowed as she absorbed the information. Incredible, this knowledge could help entire civilizations thrive if used wisely. Soren's scales flickered with light. It teaches balance, respect, and understanding. Power alone is not enough. Intelligence without empathy leads to destruction. This is why they concealed it. They trusted only those who value wisdom and partnership. Jaren nodded, feeling a deep connection to the structure. Then we will carry it forward responsibly. We will honor this civilization, learn from it, and share it with those who are ready. Suddenly, a vibration ran through the ring. The structure's energy surged, testing them one final time. Streams of light formed intricate patterns, faster and more complex than anything they had encountered. Calith and Soren exchanged a glance. "Together," Calith said, her voice firm. "Together," Soren echoed. Jaren took a deep breath. "Then let's show it what we can do." They moved in perfect coordination, responding to the energy pulses, mirroring patterns, improvising when needed. Hours of practice, intuition, and teamwork coalesced into perfect harmony. Slowly, the energy patterns slowed, the lights dimmed, and the central core stabilized. The structure accepted them, not as intruders but as worthy explorers, equals capable of understanding and responsibility. Calith exhaled softly. "We did it. We passed the test." Soren smiled faintly. "And we learned more about ourselves than we expected." This was not just a test of skill, it was a test of character. Jaren leaned back, feeling the weight of accomplishment. This is what exploration should be. Facing the unknown, respecting it, learning from it. Together, we are stronger than anything we've faced alone. As they prepared to leave the ring, the structure emitted a final pulse of energy, sending a holographic message into the ship's main console. Words appeared in multiple languages, including human. Knowledge is shared only with those who respect the path of learning and unity. Guard it wisely and the stars will open themselves to you. Calith nodded slowly. "A gift and a responsibility," Soren added, "and a reminder. The universe is full of wonders, but only those who work together, who respect knowledge and life, can survive and thrive." Jaren smiled, feeling a deep sense of pride and connection. "Then that is exactly what we will do. Together, we will explore, learn, and protect what we discover. Humanity, allied with others like you, can achieve incredible things." The ship lifted off, leaving the massive ring behind. Outside, the stars shimmered, each one a potential destination, a mystery to uncover, a challenge to face. And now, with Calith and Soren by his side, Jaren knew they could face anything. As they traveled toward the next uncharted system, the three of them felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were explorers, yes, but more than that, they were ambassadors of understanding, proof that cooperation, intelligence, and empathy could overcome even the greatest challenges. Calith looked out at the stars. "We have learned much, but the universe is infinite. There will always be new tests, new wonders, and new lessons." Soren nodded, her eyes reflecting distant starlight. "And we will face them together. Whatever comes next, we are ready." Jaren exhaled slowly, smiling. "Together," he said again. And with that, the ship accelerated toward the unknown, carrying with it the hopes, knowledge, and spirit of three beings, different in form, united in purpose, and ready to face the stars. The ship moved silently through the void, leaving the enormous ring structure behind. Jaren, Calith, and Soren sat in quiet reflection, each lost in their own thoughts. The knowledge they had acquired from the ring pulsed in their minds, not as overwhelming data, but as lessons. Lessons in intelligence, patience, cooperation, and respect for life. "This knowledge is incredible," Calith said softly, breaking the silence. "But I feel it is only the beginning. There is more out there, more challenges, more civilizations, more truths waiting for those who seek them." Soren nodded, her scales catching the faint light of distant stars. "The universe is vast. We've seen the potential of what exists beyond the systems we know, but every discovery also brings responsibility. The knowledge we carry must be used wisely, not recklessly. Jaren smiled, gripping the controls lightly. And that's why we face it together. I don't just want to survive out there. I want to understand, to grow, and to show that humans, when united with allies like you, can rise to any challenge. The engines hummed as they approached the coordinates of their next mission. A planet loomed ahead, shrouded in dark clouds that crackled with electrical storms. The sensors flickered, detecting a massive concentration of energy. It was unlike anything they had encountered so far. No natural phenomena, no stable readings, only chaos. Calith frowned. This energy, it's unstable but intelligent. Something or someone is manipulating it. This is not an ordinary planet. We should approach with extreme caution. Soren tilted her head, her eyes glowing faintly. It's testing us already. The storms are deliberate, not natural. Whoever created this wants to see if we are capable of reasoning, decision-making, and adaptability under pressure. Jaren exhaled slowly. Then we adapt. We face it together. The ship descended into the atmosphere, fighting against turbulence that threatened to throw them off course. Lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating jagged mountains and rivers of molten rock. The sensors went haywire intermittently, showing fleeting glimpses of structures buried beneath the surface, towers, walls, and what appeared to be massive machinery. Calith leaned over her console, her amber eyes scanning the readings. The structures are ancient but active. Energy flows through them like veins. Whoever built this had technology far beyond our understanding. Soren extended her hand over the sensor array. I can feel the patterns. It's alive in a sense, reacting to us, probing our intentions. We must synchronize with it carefully. One mistake could be catastrophic, Jaren nodded. Then lead the way, Soren. Calith, keep us on course. I'll focus on stabilization. The ship moved cautiously, weaving through the electrical storms until they reached the heart of the energy field. The source was a massive structure, buried deep in a crater with lightning arcing between its spires. It pulsed rhythmically, almost as if it had a heartbeat, and the energy readings suggested immense power. Calith's voice was tense. Whatever this is, it's sentient. It's aware of our presence and judging our actions. This will be a test unlike any we've faced before, Soren nodded. Then we must act as one. Focus, adapt, and trust each other. Our unity is our strength. Jaren took a deep breath. Together, then. They initiated a slow descent toward the surface. The storms intensified and the ship rocked violently. Lightning struck near them, sending shocks through the hull. Calith calculated evasive maneuvers. Soren attuned the shields to the fluctuating energy patterns, and Jaren piloted with precision, balancing instinct with strategy. Suddenly, the energy surged violently. The ship systems overloaded briefly, and alarms blared. Jaren's hands flew across the controls. Hold on, stabilizing now, Calith shouted. The patterns, we must match them. Synchronize the ship's energy with the field. Soren closed her eyes, connecting with the pulses through the sensor array. Her body seemed to glow faintly as she merged her instincts with the ship systems. Slowly, carefully, they began to move in harmony with the energy field. The storms calmed slightly and the ship stabilized. Jaren exhaled, his heart pounding. We're in sync for now. But we're not done yet. We need to find the source inside that structure. They guided the ship into the crater, approaching the spire-like towers at the center. As they drew closer, the energy readings intensified, almost overwhelming the ship's instruments. Strange symbols appeared in the storm clouds, glowing faintly as if responding to their presence. Calith's amber eyes widened. These are instructions, or a challenge. The energy itself is communicating, but not in any language we know. It's pure logic, patterns, and intent. Soren's voice was calm but determined. We can understand it. We just have to align our actions, our thoughts, and our energy with it. Trust in each other. Jaren nodded. Then let's do it. Together, they began the process of synchronizing with the structure. Kalith calculated the most precise maneuvers, directing the ship to follow energy patterns in three-dimensional space. Sauron modulated the ship systems in tune with the storm, balancing the flux of power and creating stability. Jaren coordinated their movements, improvising when necessary and trusting Kalith and Sauron's guidance. Hours passed, but the storm continued to challenge them. Energy spikes, lightning bursts, and shifting gravitational fields tested their coordination, patience, and focus. One mistake could tear the ship apart, and yet together they adapted. Gradually, the energy began to respond positively. The lightning arcs formed patterns, the storm's pulse slowed, and the symbols in the sky became clearer. They realized they were not just surviving the storm, they were communicating with it, proving their worth to the sentient structure. Kalith's voice was quiet but firm. "We're close. The core is within reach, but it will require complete harmony." One false move and we could fail. Sauron's eyes glowed. "We are ready. We've faced impossible challenges before. Together we can do this." Jaren exhaled slowly. "Then let's finish it together." They guided the ship to the heart of the structure, a massive sphere of energy pulsing with power and light. The storm seemed to converge around it, as if protecting the core. Kalith, Sauron, and Jaren worked in perfect unison, coordinating every movement, every adjustment, every pulse of energy. As they approached, the core emitted a wave of energy that enveloped the ship. Jaren felt a flood of sensations, visions of star systems, civilizations rising and falling, technology and knowledge beyond imagination. He realized the core was testing not just their skill, but their integrity, wisdom, and ability to work together. Kalith's voice was calm but reverent. "It's assessing our intentions. We must remain united and focused on understanding, not power." Sauron's scales shimmered as she extended her senses into the energy field. "We are here to learn, to respect, to prove our unity." "That is our strength." Jaren nodded, feeling the truth of her words. "We are ready." For what felt like hours, they synchronized with the core, responding to its pulses, mirroring its patterns, and demonstrating unity. Slowly, the storm began to dissipate, the lightning arcs fading, the energy stabilizing. The core pulsed one final time, then emitted a brilliant wave of light that enveloped the ship. When the light faded, the ship hovered silently in the calm atmosphere. The storm was gone, the symbols in the sky dissolved, and the structure itself seemed at peace. Kalith exhaled slowly. "We did it. We passed the test. The structure recognizes our worth." Sauron smiled faintly. "And we have proven that humans and allies, when united, can overcome even the greatest challenges. Intelligence, courage, and teamwork are stronger than any force in the universe." Jaren leaned back, feeling a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. This is what exploration should be. Not just survival, but understanding, growth, and unity. Together, we can face anything. The core emitted one last pulse of energy, sending a holographic message to the ship's main console. Words appeared clear and simple. "Only those who act with wisdom, unity, and courage are worthy of the knowledge and power of the cosmos. Protect it, share it, and continue forward together." Kalith and Sauron exchanged a glance, then nodded. "A gift and a responsibility," Kalith said. Sauron added, "and a reminder. The universe is vast, full of wonders and dangers alike. Only those who trust in each other, who respect life and knowledge, can navigate it successfully." Jaren smiled. "Then we continue, together. We have proven ourselves, and the universe has shown us that there is nothing we cannot face when we work as one." The ship lifted off, leaving the sentient storm and core behind. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, each one a potential destination, a challenge or a mystery waiting to be explored. Jaren looked at Kalith and Sauron, feeling an unbreakable bond between them. "We've come far," Kalith said softly, "but this is only the beginning." Sauron's eyes glowed with determination. "And whatever comes next, we will face it together. No one alone can match the challenges ahead." Jaren nodded, gripping the controls. "Together," he said. "Always together." As the ship accelerated toward the next uncharted system, they felt the promise of adventure, discovery, and challenge ahead. They were explorers, yes, but more than that, they were a testament to what humans and allies could achieve when they worked as one. Intelligence, courage, unity, and empathy were their true strength. And as the stars blurred into streaks of light, Jaren knew this. No force, no challenge, no unknown danger could stand against the combination of human determination and the strength of friendship and partnership. Together, they would continue to push the boundaries of the universe, forging a path of understanding, courage, and hope. The ship disappeared into the infinite night, carrying with it the spirit of three explorers, united not by duty alone, but by choice, trust, and the unyielding belief in the power of working together. They told him to pick one of the two alien girls as a reward. He looked at them and chose both part two.